Hello, and thank you for tuning in live again today. It is Sunday, December 17th at 1 p.m. I'm hoping that everyone can hear me clearly and that I'm coming through loud and clear. And you are currently watching Skill Building Sunday with me, your host, Jason Leeser. And if this is working for you, please let us know in the comments and in the chats. And please tag a friend who loves tattoos. Um, Pretty sure I'm coming through all right. I'm not 100% positive, though, so maybe adjusting that a little bit. Cool. Great. Hey, Um, awesome. So, welcome to Guy Jason's Reinventing the Tattoo community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving great reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo in both of the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, as well as the Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel, the Reinventing Tattoo Roku channel, 12 to 15 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as well as all of the major podcast directories such as Apple and Spotify. Or you can do what most people do and just open your web browser and do a quick search for Reinvent Tattoo, and you'll find it all, except for the book, which is still currently out of print. No matter where you are watching live or and you can always get the latest, most up-to-date information, all available at www.reinventingthetattoo.com. You can try out for free. You do not have to get a subscription right away. You have one of three options that you can choose from. You can pick a sample webinar from the Reinventing the Tattoo canon. You can get some free advice from Guy Aitchison about your unique goals, or you can take a comprehensive tattoo history course from Jay Brown. For fellow tattoo history nerds such as myself, could not recommend the tattoo history course anymore. It's absolutely amazing. At reinventingthetattoo.com, you can also find a full event schedule with full weekly and special event live stream details. We have a whole calendar, in fact, that you can go through and click on, and you can find the shows that fit your schedule, and you can click on the join links to join in those shows live. Or if you don't like to be live, you can always go through and comment and chat and do all that fun stuff, all through the different social media platforms that we broadcast out to. We also have the Reinventing 24/7 channel available at reinventingthetattoo.com. It's a lot like our Roku channel. It's got 13 different episodes playing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we have a host of unbelievable professional development courses from over 20 world-class tattoo artists. Artists such as BJ Betts. You can take a 3-hour lettering seminar with BJ Betts. It's awesome. Andre Malcolm has an entire koi fish half sleeve seminar that's available for sale. You can watch Bob Tyrell tattoo a skull. Who doesn't love skulls, right? This is Bob Tyrell. Go through, you can purchase it, you can watch it whenever you want after you purchase it. It's an absolutely incredible 8-hour seminar on tattooing skulls, from sketch to skin and everything in between. We cover all different types of topics. I cannot recommend it enough. Once again, if this is working for you and you can hear me clearly, please let me know in the comments and in the chat. And please tag a friend who loves tattoos. Maybe it's someone that is interested in becoming a tattoo artist or someone looking to get a tattoo. Tag everyone you know. Tag your parents, tag your neighbors, tag your friends. Anyone that might have a slight interest in tattoos, we always recommend that you tag them in these posts. We have a number of weekly staple shows that we always encourage you to tune into. Starting off on Mondays at 9 a.m., we have Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom, where we go through and we discuss basic drawing techniques and strategies, help us get back to our roots of being a fine artist, and help us remember some of those lessons that we've learned early on that can really help take our work to another level. Following that, on Mondays at noon, we have the Skill Building Monday. Yes, we are going to be broadcasting at a new time. That is going to be noon on Mondays. We have the Skill Building Monday drawing group with me, Jason Leeser, and that will be going on Mondays at noon moving forward. Following that, at 9 p.m., we have a subscribers exclusive drawing group with Sandy McAndrew from the Reinventing the Tattoo Network, where we get to go through and discuss different topics in the Reinventing the Tattoo canon and work on these exercises live with other people that have Reinventing the Tattoo subscriptions. You do not have to have a subscription in order to access the free content, but if you want to join in these Monday evening drawing groups at 9 p.m., you have got to have either a Reinventing the Tattoo canon subscription or a Reinventing the Tattoo Evolution subscription. That is the only way you can jump into these Monday evening classes. And I cannot stress enough, these classes alone are worth more than enough to justify the cost. I did them for almost 2 years consecutively, and you can see a very notable difference in the work that I was doing when I started and the work that I was doing after. It's absolutely incredible and can really, really help you work on some of these fundamental techniques and strategies. Following that, on Tuesdays at 11 a.m., we have the Tattoo Weekly Show with Gabe Ripley, Lauren Gregory, and Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network. And that's where we go through and we discuss current events in the tattoo industry, whether it's legislation or maybe it's some new inventions or, new convention thoughts and concepts, anything that deals with news that can impact this industry worldwide, or even just nationally, that you would want to tune into the Tattoo Weekly, and that's 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. Following that, on Wednesdays at 12 noon, we have the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, where we get to do a deeper dive into the business aspects behind tattooing, whether it's marketing or advertising or promotion or social media promotions, or whether it's trying to get travel visas to work in other countries. All of these things that take place on the back end that are business related, that's where we cover that on the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, and that's Wednesdays at noon. Following that and capping off the week, Thursdays at 6 p.m., we have the Tattoo Collecting 101 podcast with Fawn Baker, a great place to go through and share some of our stories and some of our adventures and how we've developed the collection of tattoos that we've received. We also cover a lot of different topics during that podcast, so make sure to check that out. That is Thursdays at 6 p.m. Would like to go through and take a minute to thank some of our sponsors and some of the people that make these shows happen. Starting off with worldtattooevents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They're constantly keeping their schedules updated and current. As we know, living in this post-pandemic era, there are still certain events that get rescheduled like crazy. So if you're looking for the latest, most up-to-date, most relevant tattoo event information coming to a city or town near you, take a look at worldtattooevents.com. Would also like to thank TattooNow.com, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattoo artists of all levels. They're constantly keeping everything upgraded and updated as well. They are 100% competitive with any type of CRM, mailing list, or scheduling software that you can possibly find out there. They can also build you a website. So if you're looking to really take your website to a whole new level, take a look at tattoonow.com. Would also like to go through and say a very special and heartfelt thank you, both personally and professionally, to the man, the myth, and the legend. I don't know what's going on now. Let's see. Guy H is the man, the myth, the legend, and the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. You can go to guyhson.com where you can pick up a copy of his Biomech Encyclopedia. You get some of his tutorial DVDs. Occasionally, he's got some custom coil machines for for sale. These are very limited runs, so get them while you can. Every now and then, he also posts up original oil paintings, and he's got countless fine art prints, all for sale. Guyton.com. I'd like to say a very quick and special thank you and shout out to Amy Nichols over at the Apprenticeship Diaries, #1 resource for tattoo apprentices and apprentice hopefuls. So if you're looking to get more information on what it's like to be a tattoo apprentice, or maybe you're wondering if the tattoo you're in is really a quality apprenticeship, but you don't really know what to expect, take a look at the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols. It's 100% worth it. I cannot say that enough. She really knows her stuff, and there's interviews with all different types of people about what they look for in a tattoo apprentice and what to expect during an apprenticeship. Let me go back to this. As always, we ask that if you like today's show and you like today's episode, please post a positive review on the channel. Help us get the word out. Hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. Make sure you get notified for all of the new shows coming up, and we've got some exciting stuff coming up starting on the 1st of the year. We have got lots of great interviews planned and lots of really awesome information to cover with you guys. A lot of new content's going to be coming out, so please stay tuned. But you won't know unless you hit that notify button and that subscribe button, so please go through and do that. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, become a sponsor of our community, or if you are looking for a tattoo or a fine art critique, maybe it's a painting you're working on or a sketch or a drawing for a tattoo, you can always email management at reinventingthetattoo.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. You can also email me directly at jason@reinventingthetattoo.com. Oh, man. Lots and lots and lots of talking and words. Yay. We were supposed to have a very special live stream today with Seth Mushrush, as he was going to be going through and doing a tattoo. And unfortunately, that is going to be postponed a tiny bit, simply because his client canceled on him due to illness. COVID is still going around. It is still a thing. Please be aware of that. I want everyone to stay healthy. If you might be around someone that is sick, or you know someone that is sick and they still want to get tattooed, do yourself a favor and say no. You have the power to say no to people that are sick. Protect your health. Stay healthy. You want to tattoo for as long as you can, if I am correct. That means staying healthy at all costs. Please regard your health as #1 priority, always. I cannot stress that enough. It is that time of year where we are all trying to make ends meet. This is what I like to refer to as painting season. I do not like to call it slow season, because there are artists out there that are not slow. But it is painting season. This is the time of year where we as artists, and I cannot stress this enough, we as artists now get to take this opportunity for a little bit of a lull in the business and a little bit of a lull in the industry. Yeah, the studio might be selling a lot of gift cards, or gift certificates, or t-shirt sales, or people might want to book appointments, for January, February, March, whatever. That's great. That doesn't help us out this month. I would like to stress a very, very important phrase that I was taught a long time ago when I started tattooing, and that is remember December. Things usually take a little bit of a dip in December every year. You need to save for that every year. Whether that's a cigar box filled with cash, or a separate bank account where you siphon off some of the money you make during tax return season, which we all know is our favorite time of year. Maybe you siphon off some of that money and you put it in a separate savings account just for December. Any way that you cut it, save some money for December every year. This way, you do not run into problems. You do not run into, oh, I can't pay my rent. I can't pay my mortgage. Oh, my electric's going to get shut off if I don't get more clients in the door. What can I do? Um, do yourself a favor, save for it, anticipate the challenge that comes around every year. It will only be to your benefit. And hey, if you have a great year and you're booked out through November and December and January, great. If you put a little bit of money aside every month during tax return season, and then, okay, well, I had a good year, I'm still booked out, great. That's money that you now have saved. Maybe take that and reinvest in a new tattoo machine or a, maybe take yourself on a little vacation and go to a convention across, the country. Do something fun with that money. But it all comes down to saving. You need to save for this time of year. Now, there are ways that we can counteract this. We can go through, we can do Instagram promotions, we can do TikTok promotions and make advertisements for our business. I myself have started diving into the TikTok rabbit hole. And I call it the TikTok rabbit hole because it literally is a black hole of entertainment and enjoyment. And it is absolutely fantastic to sit down and watch funny little clips that are only 10 seconds long for hours and hours and hours at a time. Because I've not saying that I do that, but things happen sometimes. Anyway, but we can do these kinds of things, and yes, that will help boost a little bit of our employment. It'll help boost some of our appointments. It'll help us go through and maybe counteract slow season a little bit. Um, that's not to say that that should be our sole intent, our sole purpose, and our sole strategy for combating this lack of income during this time of year. Okay. Plan ahead, save some money, um, come up with a side gig or a side hustle that can help bring in a little bit extra cash. Maybe sell some fine art prints. I know a guy who does pretty, pretty good prints. Um, start a little bit of a printing business on the side. Maybe do some t-shirt sales, limited run t-shirts. Only sold December of 2023. If you like the design, you got to get it now. Won't ever be made again. Increase that hype. Post all the time. You have to beat these social media algorithms. You have got to stay on top of posting, live streaming, posting to stories and reels and TikToks, cross posting, doing live streams. All of these things will help you beat that algorithm and will help you stay at the top of everyone's feed. So maybe someone will be going through, scrolling through. Next thing you know, they're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I got a little bit extra money after holidays were paid off. Let me go and get myself a new tattoo. It can really be helpful for that kind of thing. But create that side hustle as well. Doesn't mean that you have to do it all the time. Maybe you start a business card company or a printmaking company or graphic design work or window painting and sign painting. Great. Well, maybe you only do that a couple of months out of the year. Maybe that is your side gig, and that allows you to be a little bit more selective about some of the projects you take on, and you don't necessarily have to do that all year round. But it can definitely be something that can help you supplement your income during this time of year. Now, that being said, I would like to touch on something else. This is a very special time of year for a lot of people. This is the time of year that I personally like to go out of my way to do for others. When we do for others, that karma does come back to us. When we go through and we help people this time of year, that karma does come back to us. All of these things that we do, all of these, charitable things, charitable giving, charitable events, things like that. And I'm not saying you have to give away everything for free, but help people out if you see them in need. It can really make the difference between lifting someone's spirits, really helping them out if they might be struggling, and they will remember that. I can remember every single time when I've been at that low point, especially around the holidays. Someone's come through and helped me out in one way or another. I remember that, you know, do for others, give back to the community, give back to your people, give back to the clients that have, helped support you throughout the years. The ones that have always been on call, set, and ready to come in for a new tattoo whenever you get a cancellation. Now is the time to give back. Now is the time to think about them, because without those people in our lives, it can get pretty rough, you know. Now is also the time of year to try something new, to go through, to expand your network, to maybe, you know what, maybe you haven't gone to a convention in a while. Maybe the last convention you were at, you had a really bad experience, a really bad time. You know what? Try it again. What's the worst that can happen? Um, it's also, working at conventions, working at shows. I call that chasing the dollar, right? This is the time of year where I typically tend to travel the most. The reason being is because I know that the local area that I work in doesn't usually come in for a whole lot of tattoos during the winter months, mostly because it's cold and wet and rainy and kind of gross out, which it is today. The sky is super gray and it's wet and gross, and I really don't want to go outside at all today. But that's neither here nor there. But that's kind of the reason why I tend to travel the most during these months. I view this, okay, well, maybe I'm not quite as busy at the studio. Great. I'm going to remember that for next year so that I can go through and I can say, okay, well, maybe November was a slow month. And it has been consistently for the past couple of years. Okay. Now I'm going to start looking at what shows are going on in November, what conventions are going on in November, what conventions are going on in October, or, maybe December or January. Okay, well, these are the shows that I want to go to, because I know that if I do it right, the worst thing that's going to happen is I'm going to break even, right? And there is a strategy to working at shows and making sure that you always at least break even. And I think if anyone's been watching me for long enough, I've touched on that quite a few times. If anyone does have questions about that, I'm more than happy to go through and talk to everyone one on one, and give you some tips about working at shows and how to make sure that you always at least break even. Um, and it's not a bad thing, because even if you at least break even, at the very least, you're still getting your name out there. So it's still a net positive. It's still an advertising experience, a networking experience, somewhere where you can go and you can talk to your peers and pick up new topics, new techniques, new ideas. Maybe someone came out with something new, or you see someone using something that you've never seen before. That's a great place to go through and really grow who you are as an artist and what you're doing as an artist. Um, Keep in mind, do a little bit of self reflection, look at your books, see where you've been busy and where you haven't been busy, and go through and, obviously, if you've got slower times of the year, see that as an opportunity, not a downside. In life, it's all in how we look at things, it's all a matter of perspective. People will see this time of year as, oh, well, it's a tough time of year. Well, it's only tough if you allow it to be tough. Take advantage of the opportunities. Even if you see them as detriments, look at them as opportunities. What can you make out of this? Where can you go? What can you do while things might be slower at the studio to better yourself so that you can come back next year and build that reputation? Maybe next year isn't as bad. Awesome. Maybe that had something to do with what you've learned and what you've done the year prior. Take a look, do some self reflection. It's something I try to do all the time, and it's really, really, really helpful. I cannot stress that enough. Now, now that I've given my little soliloquy for the day, a couple of things I did want to touch on today. First things first, this will be the last skill building Sunday because we are moving to Mondays. This show is not stopping, nor will it ever stop as long as I am breathing. Unless, obviously something absolutely detrimental happens, but, let's knock on wood for that. If I get hit by a meteor when I walk outside the next time, obviously it won't be going on. But the positive there is that I'll probably turn into a superhero. So, yay. So this show's time slot will be moving to Mondays at noon moving forward. So please keep that in mind with your schedule. We will still have a lot of guest artists on here. We will still have a lot of advice. Will still be giving you a lot of different tips and tricks and techniques. But I did want everyone to know that this show, which takes place currently on Sundays at 1, will be moving to Mondays at noon. So please keep that in mind, especially during another way I like to refer to this time of year is as NFL season, because a lot of people like to watch football here in the U.S. And that's American football, not you know actual football. But a lot of people here in the states do enjoy watching football during this time of year. So, in order to not have any kind of conflicting schedules with any types of American football matches, Mondays at noon will be the new time slot here for the Skill Building Monday show with me, Jason Leeser. Um, so be looking forward to that moving forward. Hopefully, everyone that's out there and watching, hopefully, this gives you something to do on Mondays at noon. If it does not, please, by all means, let me know. If there is a better day and time for you, well, maybe we can talk to some people about it, but for the foreseeable future, will be Mondays at noon. Now, I did have something that I would like to talk to people about. It's a little bit of a question, and it's something that I've posed to a couple of different groups of people, and it's something that I'm interested to see and get some feedback about. It's about tattoo machines. Okay. I myself have been using the same couple of machines for quite a while. I absolutely love them. I think they are the greatest things since sliced bread. I work with a 3.5 stroke machine and I work with a 4 millimeter machine as well. Um, I've been a huge fan of certain brands of machine for a while. However, I have been hearing a lot of great feedback about some of these less expensive machines that people can pick up that have a lot of these great new features. Um, and I'm considering in investing in a new one. I'm not trying to spend a whole lot of money, but something that can be versatile. I've seen a lot of different machines on places like Amazon and Instagram and TikTok and all that, where people will actually go through and they've got wireless adjustable stroke tattoo machines for sale now. I myself have never used one. I think I know of one person that actually has one and they think it's great. They use it all the time. Awesome. But I wanted to get some feedback from everyone out there. What do you think about these less expensive machines? Do you think they work as well? I know quite a few artists that still use, very kind of cheap ones. They're like, oh, it's great. It's like $200 when you buy it. And if it breaks on you, you throw it out, you buy a new one. You can buy 5 of them that could last you 8, 9 years and it's going to be the same price as if you bought one machine later on. Okay. Not saying that, buying one quality machine up front isn't going to pay for itself over the time, but I can understand how it's a big investment for a lot of people. We've got Spirit who joined us.
What
What's
up?
going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, man. So I was posing a question to everyone out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at picking up a new machine, right? And I've been
Okay.
doing a lot of homework on some of these less expensive machines. They're wireless, they're adjustable stroke lengths, they're super versatile in any number of different things. Um, I only know of one person that has one and has used one, and they swear by it. They absolutely love it. They think it's one of the best machines they've ever purchased.
Hmm.
And it was like $250.
Which machine was it?
So the one that the person that I know owns is the Easy Tattoo P3.
Okay.
And it's got rechargeable batteries. Now they say the batteries don't last that long. They say that they've got like a 4 hour work time, right? Okay, well, from what I've been told, that's kind of dependent upon where you run the machine as far as voltage. Is it a continuous run? Are you using it the whole time? Or is that
Right.
one of those like, okay, well, that's 4 hours at max voltage and just letting it run straight through, right?
Hmm. Right.
So there's a lot of variables there. The person that I know that does own one said that he's made it through 6 and 8 hour sessions using the same machine at like a medium voltage. So it's like, oh, okay, maybe it does last a bit longer than 4 hours.
Hmm.
But it's adjustable stroke. Now, in the past, I've been kind of hesitant to use anything that is adjustable like that because there are a lot of issues with complications and different things like that. The more tricks something can do, the more features it has, the more likely those features are to cause problems later on. So
Hmm.
sometimes going the more simplified route can be a better route for longevity purposes. Not to say that, you know, it can't be very, very helpful, especially being able to turn around and have the option to go from a shorter stroke, maybe 2.8, 3 millimeter or whatever, for like very fine black and gray work. It helps cut down on skin trauma. Really allows you to go through and kind of see it, how everything settles down a lot faster.
You're right.
Um, or you could switch that over and go all the way up to 4.2. Well, 4.two's got a pretty big punch to it. It's pretty hefty. Um, it can be a little bit much for certain things, depending on the techniques that you're using. But sometimes you need that little bit of an oomph. Maybe you break out a 23 mag and you're trying to do some solid color. You need a little bit more punch behind it.
Right.
Cool. Maybe that's where you want to switch over to a longer stroke. Or maybe you're trying to drive in some power lines with, a super big, beefy, crazy bold 14 round liner.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Well, you need a little bit more power behind that in order to really kind of cover that same amount of surface tension. Not a problem. Switch it over to a longer stroke and you're good.
Right.
But for certain things and certain techniques, I can see the added benefit of using a medium or a shorter stroke for what you were doing. Kind of makes it an all-purpose, all-around adjustable machine. And I'm actually honestly really surprised companies like Cheyenne, FK Irons, and Bishop have not hopped on this kind of a bandwagon, because I really see this being like the next evolution in tattoo machines. Now,
Yeah, the screen.
what was that?
No, I agree. Because I mean, once I found a machine that could do that, a rotary that could do that, it was kind of a game changer.
Right. And it's like, I can kind of understand from a business perspective why they don't want to, because the second they come out with an adjustable stroke wireless machine, that pretty much eliminates all of the other products that they've come out with that are wireless, right? It makes those useless now, because why would
Hmm.
someone buy a separate machine for a longer stroke when that same stroke length
Right.
is now on this machine over here, as well as all of these other stroke lengths?
Yeah.
So I can kind of understand and kind of see why they would want to not come out with that. But it's kind of the same reason why Apple has never come out with a multi-touch sensitive screen for a MacBook Pro, right? Um,
Right.
they never jumped on the touch screen bandwagon for laptops, and the reason being is because they created the iPad. and they're making
Mhm.
millions off of the iPad every year. So why would they want to create another product that kind of makes that obsolete?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
not saying that there aren't third-party companies out there that will be more than happy to make you a touchscreen MacBook Pro, but it's the same concept. People want to
Mhm.
go through and utilize the inventory that they have to create money and more income in that kind of a manner. Um, you take certain companies that maybe their machine sales are falling off a little bit. Maybe it's like, cool, FK Irons released a new flux in uh, another color. Now they've got 52 different colors of the exact same machine, but it's still the exact same machine. Do you
Mhm.
really
Yes,
need
sir.
that many colors on it? Because you're wrapping your machine anyway, so no one's really going to see it. So does
Right.
it really
Exactly.
matter? Do we really need that many colors of the exact same machine? I don't think
Mhm.
so.
No, that's real.
Personal opinion.
I'm gonna
Personal opinion,
take
of
my
course.
camera off.
But that's my kind of thoughts on it. You know,
Mhm.
but maybe they're starting to see machine sales kind of trickle down.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, what can you do to
That's
boost
good.
that, right? And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day that works for a company that actually does engineer, design, and manufacture tattoo machines. And
Mhm.
I remember bringing this up to them, and I've brought this up to them several times, where it's like, listen, if there are these companies out there in different places of the world making these machines with these features, which are ideal for tattooing, and they're selling them for $300, why do we then have to go through and buy a machine from your company that can't do half of that for $1,200, for four times
Exactly.
the amount of money? So to
Exactly.
me, it's like, okay, well, even if I have to buy like six of those machines, well, four of those machines to have backups on hand in case something breaks, to me, that's still going to equal out to be the same amount of money. But if I get one and it works great for 2 years, well, now I've got twice the machine life out of that than I do out of spending $1,200 from one machine, which I'll probably get maybe 6, 7 years out of.
Yep.
Um,
Because
so
here's the thing. So to answer your question, uh, so I had that kind of the same dilemma. So I had a Cheyenne Soul Nova that I had for maybe about 5, 6 years. It cost me like it was either 900 or 1100. I can't recall, but it started. I started to have some issues with it, and I was like, "Good gracious, what?" So I had the same dilemma, like, what machine should I buy? And then one of my suppliers, he was like, "Hey man, we have the Peak Solus Pro was like 300, 250, something like that. It had the adjustable stroke and everything, and I've been using that, and it's my daily driver. I love the thing, you know."
so that's the Peak Solus Pro.
Yep.
I'm pulling it up now because I've been doing a lot of homework into this stuff, and that's
Mhm.
not one I've really looked at too much. So I'm actually pulling that up to make a note, um, just so that I can look that up a little
Yeah.
bit later.
Yeah, it's solid. I mean, it's one machine. Like, it doesn't have a battery that comes off of it. Like I said, adjustable stroke. The battery's really solid on it. I had no problems with it.
Okay, I see it. I see it. Um, Very nice. And it's
Yeah.
looks like it's rechargeable.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and you've got the different type of or different type of analog connections in case you need to switch over to analog instead of wireless.
Right.
Looks pretty nice, man. Um, yeah, that looks pretty nice. I'm always curious about like what types of motors and adjustments these things have. What kind of mechanisms are going, because if I know the way that they work, I can spot potential future issues, and that will occasionally help me go through and um, make a kind of determination on which direction to head in. Um, it's just something that I like to know about. And I know how, like, the motors, the types of drive shafts and all that stuff that different companies like Cheyenne and FK Irons use. I've seen teardowns of their machines where their machines get completely disassembled and then reassembled, and they kind of show you how everything work. Um, and it's great to understand that, because these are, you get things like the FK Irons Flux, you get the Cheyenne Solnova Unlimited, you get the Cheyenne Solnova. You can see what kind of motor they have. You can see what their, for lack of a better term, their drivetrain for that plunger bar. You can see how that works and where potential issues might come into play. Now, I've gotten a peek at the insides of some of these adjustable stroke machines with different types of, like, uh, for lack of a better term, flywheels on the inside, where as you rotate the stroke length, it'll adjust the flywheel. Um, I know that there are certain companies out there like Mast that had some issues with that. Now they've got different technology out there where a lot of people are moving towards a, how can I put this? A almost like a threaded screw kind of method, where you know, when you turn it, it's a stepless adjustment from like 2.4 to 4.2, or some of them go from 2.5 to 4.5. But it seems like it's stepless. So you can switch to every increment in between to find what's going to work perfect for you for that tattoo. Um, can really be a nice thing to have on hand, to be able to have that kind of versatility. Um, I'm always curious about physical size, because sometimes pictures don't really do tattoo machines justice. You might take a look at some things and it's like, oh well, it doesn't look too, and then you get it in the mail and you're like, holy crap, I need two hands to hold this thing. For example, the FK Irons XO. I love using this as an example. Um, it'll tell you exactly what that big, chunky, beefy grip on the X is widthwise. It'll tell you that it's, I forget how big it is in diameter, but it doesn't look super huge in the pictures, right? It's just a little bit bigger than like a standard flux grip. Great. Bought, thinking, hey, cool, it's just going to be a little bit bigger. It's going to be a little bit more ergonomic. Awesome. Love it. Well, it was huge. It was so big that, like, I've got small hands. I can admit that it was too big for my hand. It really was, because I like to put a little bit of a cushion on my grip. Usually paper towels. Sometimes it's just Coban, but it's usually something to give it a little bit of a cushion to it, because I tend to have the grip of doom whenever I tattoo, and that's one of my flaws. But I've figured out a way to overcome that. Usually it just involves a couple of paper towels, gives a little bit more cushion. It's great. Um, it also cuts down on the amount of Coban that I use to wrap my grips. So, yeah, if you're ever looking for ways to cut costs, use paper towels. Do Coban around once, paper, 2 or 3 paper towels folded up around, another layer or two of Coban, done. Now you've just saved yourself almost an entire roll of Coban, rather than wrapping an entire roll of Coban around one grip. Um, it reminds one of me where see a meme about a new age or a millennial tattooer. They've got like a whole toilet paper roll on their grip. I always thought that was pretty hysterical. Uh, but you know, to each own. You do what you got to do. But I found a way to overcome, what I know to be something that I need to work on, and I need to have a lighter grip on my machines, and I get that. Um, it kind of is what it is. There's nothing. I mean, I've been working on adjusting that for a while, but I also know that that's to do with the way that machines run, impact, and everything like that. So I try to stay conscious about it. But still, when I got that FK XO, the grip was huge, so big that I couldn't put any kind of a cushion on it. So I was curious to see what's going on with where using it, and sometimes pictures can be deceiving. So I'm always curious about that. I have that same person that I mentioned before that has the pen from Amazon. They also have a different one from Amazon that takes the same batteries that then Hawk Unlimited does. Um, they said that that machine in of itself absolutely enormous. It was gigantic, and they showed it to me, and it is. It's 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 a monster of a machine. Um, so I would never ever want to attach because it's so top heavy that I feel the weight kind of pulling my hand back a little bit. And that for me is like a sign that, yeah, this isn't going to work. Um, so just food for thought. Don't be surprised if I reach out to people and I say, hey, just pick this machine. Can't wait to see how it runs, and do like a full machine kind of, for lack of a better term, a full machine teardown on what I like about it, what I don't like about it, how ergonomic is it, what's uh, pros, cons, and all that stuff. Um, but I think this is going to be the next evolution in tattoo machines, and that's having some kind of adjustable stroke machine. Um, until there are bigger names out there that are coming up with, similar products that will allow us to maybe maximize the quality of the machine that we use, I'm down to try some cheaper stuff. I see no issues with it. Um, and whether it's through Amazon, eBay, Temu, wherever, Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, you know, you never know until you try. I'm not one to automatically rule something out, um, unless I've actually given it a good solid try. So that's what I will probably be doing. Maybe next month sometime, I'll pick up one of those and see how it goes. But you know what? Honestly, for $250 as opposed to I don't know, say FK Irons came out with one tomorrow, they'd probably put it down for 1,500. Um, I'll take 250 over 1,500 any day of the week. Not a problem. Not at all. The problem then, of course, becomes what do I do with all of my other machines, which I might only get pennies on the dollar for now. So it's like, becomes a catch 22. I might not make that money back if I go to sell my old machines, but theoretically speaking, I won't really have to worry about that. I can always keep those on hand as far as um, having a pretty decent backup. So, just some food for thought. Don't be afraid to try new things, especially if they're not very expensive. Give it a go. Try it out. See how it works for you. You never know if it's going to be a game changer, or, you know what? Say it doesn't work out. Say it breaks in the first 3 days you get it. Well, number one, it should be covered under some kind of a warranty. So send it back and get a new one. Or you can go through and, um, you know, write it off. Take it as a loss, take it as a hit. But hey, at least you're not writing off $1,500 for a new machine. So give it a go, give it a shot. Maybe go halves with someone on it. Try it out. You guys both toss up $100, which we're tattoo artists. We should be able to make that back in one tattoo. Um, Go halves with someone on it. Try it out. Maybe you get it and you use it a couple of times and they get it and they use it a couple of times. You can figure something out with it. It's not a big deal. And then never let the most buy out the other person for another 100. It's an option, right? But there's a lot of things that are coming out that are out there, like hydraulic armrests. I saw those and I was like, that's really cool. It's a good idea. These things are super huge, but you know what? It's hydraulic. Yeah, I'll give maybe grab one of those too. Who knows? Um, I'm one of those people that I'll try, give it a go. Um, Lord knows I already have like 3 armrests that I can switch between at any given time. Maybe I shouldn't armrest. But hey, maybe I can sell the other one I got. Or maybe I can give it to one of the other artists that I work with that, needs a new armrest. Just thought. Never know. I was actually considering, so I have one of the big GG Workshop armrests, not a real big one, but like the bigger guys, I guess. And that one's great. I was thinking about mounting that to my anvil rest and realized that the pad that was on it was so unbelievably heavy that there's no way that could really feasibly work well. I would love it if it did, but it's a monster huge armrest pad on an otherwise very, very small, and so I don't think it would work that well. But yeah, so depending on what features you're looking for in a new tattoo machine, maybe you want one that keeps track of the amount of work time. Maybe you want one that shows you the speed at which the machine is running. Maybe you want one that will, doesn't give you any of those readouts. It's just the voltage. Great. Maybe it's one that's a fixed stroke length. I like 3.5. That's usually like my go-to. Either 3.5 or 3.25. Those are like typically my go-to machine stroke lengths. And I've learned how to use that stroke length for everything, right? I can power line with a 3.5 or a 3.25. I can do solid color with a 15 mag or a 19 mag. I can do soft black and gray shading. I have learned how to utilize that machine to do whatever I want to do with it. So a lot of it comes down to understanding how you can change and adapt to the machine. Just something that I've picked up on over the years, because we as humans are the biggest variable in tattooing, right? We are the ones that can adjust ourselves to a machine. The machine does not necessarily have to adjust to us. Having different options is great. Maybe you've got a very specialized tattoo that you're going to be doing. Great. Use that specialized machine for that. But for general, everyday, all around purposes, it'd be nice to have multiple options in one machine. So my thoughts, not saying I need to have it, because I can do everything with any machine that you put in front of me. Maybe it's a 2.5 millimeter stroke machine. I will find a way to get that to work to do what I need it to do. I will be able to adjust myself to make sure that I can tattoo efficiently with whatever machine is put in front of me. And that's what makes me super versatile, right? Because it doesn't really matter what machine I use. Lord knows I've used plenty of them. But it's an option. I know what I prefer and I know what I like, but am I capable of using a lot of other things? Absolutely. Not a problem at all. We are going to be getting to that time today. We've got about 5 minutes left. If anyone has any questions at all, please, by all means, feel free to drop me a comment, jump in real quick, send me a text message, whatever you want to do. Let me know, because we do only have about 5 minutes left before we sign off for the day. As a quick side note, and I do want to pull up my calendar just to make sure. Let's see. Let's see. Week, month. Okay, so as a wow, how did I jump to April? No, go stop. What? No. Are you gonna stop now? Okay, cool. Okay, so looking at my calendar right now, I can say that since we are moving to Monday afternoons at noon, um, we will not be broadcasting next week. So I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. If you are not already having a wonderful holiday season, um, happy Hanukkah to everyone out there that might celebrate that holiday. Um, So we will not be broadcasting next week. I believe the next time we will be broadcasting is January 1st, and that is Monday, January 1st. If that does not come to pass, then we will definitely do that the following Monday, which will be January 8th. So if I do not hear, or no one hears from me during that period of time over the next few weeks, I hope everyone is living their best life, and I hope everyone is doing well. Spirit, thank you as always for joining us today. You're always a wealth of knowledge and information. And I appreciate you coming on here, man. I really, really do. And we can't hear you, by the way. Nothing. All right. Have a good one. Take care. Hope everyone is doing well, and I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year if I do not hear from you. Um, I appreciate everyone that does watch these shows. I really do. I can't thank you enough for tuning in for these and listening to what I have to say. As always, if anyone out there ever has any ideas or topics for a new show, anything you want me to cover, feel free to go through and shoot me a direct message on Instagram right up here. My Instagram is at Philly Inc. You can also find me at Philly Inc. on TikTok. Or you can always email Jason at reinventingthetattoo.com, and I will be happy to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you all very, very much for watching today. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of 2023. If I do not hear from you guys before the new year, thank you very much. Take care. I appreciate you all, and I thank you all for all that you have done and given me. Thank you. And have a wonderful, wonderful day and wonderful rest of the year.